The Olympics are with us. We're in the middle of it. Hopefully all of you are watching them every day. You're getting a couple hours of your Olympic fix. You're watching them with your kids and your family. Nothing more inspiring than watching the Olympics and seeing some of the things that are going on. But the one word that comes out all the time, comes up all the time, is the word discipline. Write down the word discipline. Write down the word discipline. Are those Olympians, are they disciplined, yes or no?
Yes.
They are very disciplined. They are very focused. And I wrote down here, discipline begins with a choice. The question that I wrote down is, what are you not doing consistently? Think about this. What are you not doing consistently that if you did would have a profound effect positively on your life? What are you not doing consistently that if you did would have a profound positive effect on your life? I wrote down, with discipline, average people can achieve the extraordinary. Average people can achieve the extraordinary. Without it, without discipline, you will never reach your potential. And that, therein, is the problem. Therein is the complacency. Therein are the issues. Those men and women, those boys and girls that are in the Olympics today spent the last 8, 10, 12, 15 years getting better, focusing for a 2, 3 second, 5 second, 8 second, 1 minute routine, 2 minute routine. Think about that. Think about that. I have trouble getting you to work a half an hour on your scripts and dialogues just so you can kind of get something right next weekend, okay? I'm going to go on a listing appointment. Yay, okay, let's work on, what do you think the objections are going to be? Well, they already said on the phone they don't want to pay a full 6%. Okay, so have you worked on it? Well, no. What are you going to talk about? I'm not sure. Well, you know it's coming, right? Say yes.
Yes.
It's going to be there, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Do you think they're going to forget when you show up that they want to talk about commission?
No.
But why didn't you practice some objection handlers before you got there? You knew it was coming. It's there. You pre-qualified them. They told you right up front, we're going, here's my problems, Mr. Real Estate Agent. I don't want to pay a full 6% commission. I have a friend in the business, and I'm not sure what you're going to do different than all the real estate agents. They told you that in the pre-qualifier. Your appointment isn't for 4 more days. You'd think that you would spend the next 3 or 4 days working on those objection handlers. But you don't. Why? Because discipline takes effort. Write that down. Because discipline takes effort. It takes giving up something. It takes getting out of your comfort zone. If you had to sit down and write out the script and rewrite it and rewrite it and repractice it and repractice it, now you're not going to win 100% of the time. I get that. And maybe that's the issue. If I can't win 100% of the time, I'm not going to try anything. But if we've already established, if you get really good at this, and you don't have to cut your commission 2 out of 10 times, and you saved yourself, let's say, $4,000 a month by doing that, times 12 is $48,000, and you were really good about that over the next 10 years, that's $480,000 over the next 10 years just because you were great only 20% of the time. Think about it. 20% of the time they bought you. They bought what you were saying. They got it. But you're not willing to take the effort. I have a friend in the business. That's great. Gee, everybody else does. It's interesting. So does your friend work locally or out of area? Well, they actually live way out of area. But you didn't know that unless you asked a couple questions. Well, that's a pretty easy objection handler to take care of. It takes giving up something. It takes getting out of your comfort zone. I wrote down here, most people say they are going to do something, and then they allow something to get in the way. I'm going to go to the gym this morning, and I'm going to be there at 5 o'clock. That's it. I'm disciplined now going forward. What happened this morning? Man, it's a bitch getting up. My alarm didn't go off. Did you know there was a power outage? I don't know if you guys know this or not. There can be a power outage, but I don't know if you know, but you can set the alarm on your phones. No, honest, it's really, there's an alarm on there. And it'll wake you up. Most people are not disciplined. Most people say they're going to do something, and they allow something else to get in the way. So then I wrote down a question, what is self-discipline? Let's talk about self-discipline for a little bit. Self-discipline is the ability to get yourself to take action regardless of your emotional state. Self-discipline is to get you to take action regardless of your emotional state. Imagine what you could accomplish if you could simply get yourself to follow through on your best intentions no matter what. Think about that. Today, this week, I'm going to learn my scripts and dialogues. Today, this week, I'm going to do 15 hours of prospecting. Today, this week, I'm going to make 150 contacts. If you did that, would that probably change your income in a positive way over the next few weeks if you were doing that over the next few weeks? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Why don't we do it? I'm waiting. Self-discipline is like a muscle. Write that down. Self-discipline is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger you become. If you train a muscle, if you lift weights, you become stronger over time. That's what self-discipline's about. Conversely, the less you train it, the weaker you become. If you don't do any weight training, you, over time, become weaker. These great power lifters, you know, you see them in their glory, and they look terrific, you know, they're all built up, they have muscles on muscles on muscles, and then, you know, a year or two of not doing any real weight training, it's a big difference, isn't it? It's a little ugly, actually. Just as everyone has different muscular strength, we all possess different levels of self-discipline. Everyone has some. We've all worked out with weights to build muscle. We've all lifted weights. And the basic method to self-discipline is to tackle challenges that you can successfully accomplish which are near your limits. So this is kind of what I mean. If you go into the gym today and you decide you want to press, you haven't been to the gym for a year and a half, and you want to press 300 pounds. You pull 300 pounds out, put it on the bars, get underneath it, and start pressing it up. Do you guys do that? No, you look kind of dumb, right? You know, you can't even lift the bar, let alone the weight. How much is the bar? Like 50 pounds? 45 pounds? You can't even do that. Well, so then we do the same thing with other things, like our scripts and dialogues. You know, today I'm going to learn everything there is to do about the listing presentation. I'm going to learn it all today. You can't learn it all today. It takes time. I've talked about this before. Constant, write this down. C-A-N-I. Constant and never-ending improvement. Constant and never-ending improvement. You must start with weights or challenges that are within your current ability to lift, but are near your limits today. Start small. If you normally can lift 20 pounds, maybe go to 22. Push it up just slightly. Push it up just slightly. If you normally can prospect without a problem an hour a day, but 3 hours is just the elusive butterfly, then what you need to do is this week do an hour a day plus 15 minutes. 1 hour plus 15 minutes. Every day for a week. Just do that until at the end of the week, the 1 hour and 15 minutes starts to become habit. If it's not, go for another week until the hour and 15 minutes starts to become comfortable and easy. Just like lifting 20 pounds could be very easy for you, and you do that for a week, and at the end of the week, it's like, this is getting boring, right? So then what do? You add another couple pounds. And then you add another couple pounds. You do the same thing with prospecting. You can't get 3 hours a day in consistently over time, don't worry about it. Do an hour. If you can't do an hour, do 45 minutes. Start someplace. And then start building the muscle of self-discipline. I wrote down here, if you keep working out with the same weights, you won't get any stronger. Similarly, if you fail to challenge yourself in life, you won't gain any more self-discipline. You've got to challenge yourself. Some of you are terrific on the doors. Just great, you love the doors, and you'll go do them all the time. But you're horrible at past client and sphere, calling them on the phone. I have no idea what that's about. Okay, I don't get it. But get over it, all right? Your past client and sphere can be a giant source of tomorrow business, today, giant. If you're having trouble calling them and you have 300 of them, then why don't you just make it your goal to call 2 every day this week? Just talk to 2 every day this week until you start to get comfortable with that. By the way, even though you had a problem with somebody at the end of a transaction, and you feel like they don't ever want to talk to you again, and you feel bad about calling and talking to them, when you do finally talk to that person, are they usually, wow, I'm really glad you called, or I can't believe it, you're such a jerk? Which one do you usually get? Glad you called. I missed you. I was thinking about you. Yeah, I was thinking about you last week when I listed my house with somebody else. You know that happens. It happens all the time, right? Yes. Well, why didn't you call me? I don't know. Didn't have your phone number. Didn't think about it. The guy just came to the door, and he knocked on the door, and he said, when do you plan on moving? And I said, well, funny you should ask. Right now. I hear this all the time when I finally get agents to start calling on their past client and sphere. I just had this the other day in Irvine. One of the agents got mad at me for not hiring him earlier. It's a true story. True story. He comes over to me. He's mad. I said, what are you mad at me for? He says, well, if you'd have called me a month before and got me into the office and showed me the error of my ways, then this phone call I just made, I would have talked to that client, and I would have had that listing, and I would have had that sale. It's your fault. It's always my fault. But that's what's going on. They're out there. They want to talk to you. They want to do business. And right now, especially, people, we come from a nomadic, let me back up. We as a people come from a nomadic society. Okay? This goes way back. All right? We're nomads. We moved. We put a tent, you moved. You moved someplace else, you moved. Agrarian society, you moved where the cattle went so that the cattle could feed. Got it? They only put up fences around ranches back in the 1850s. There were no fences. everybody kind of moved on to other places. So in our DNA somewhere, we're movers. So for the last 6 or 8 or 10 years, people haven't been moving because the market hasn't allowed it. Either hasn't allowed it because we weren't in a financial position to be able to move, because we didn't have the income, or we didn't have a job, or whatever it was, or our house was underwater, or we didn't know. It was a lot of security issues. We didn't know what tomorrow was going to bring. We didn't know if we'd have a job tomorrow. But today, that's not happening as much, is it? You know, we still have unemployment. We still have things going on. It's still not out of the woods. But you know what brings the economy out of the woods, ladies and gentlemen? Real estate. Do you know how much money is generated on every real estate transaction? Let's just talk residential resale, not new homes. Mortgage guys and gals make money. Real estate agents make money. They make money, so then we can pay the landlord the rent. The landlord gets to go out and get a haircut. Maybe buy another suit because he's not quite as worried about the mortgage guy or the real estate guy paying the rent. How about new carpets, new drapes in the house? How about paint? How about landscaping? How about a washer and dryer? All of those people that now we're spending money with, we're generating escrow and title, termite. All of those people have vendors that they do business with that are below them. Get it? People they get haircuts from. People they get their cars fixed from. People they buy their suits and clothes from. The economy is serviced enormously by one single, think about, one single sale, residential resale transaction. How much money is generated from that? Then you've got the new home side and all the construction and things and raw materials that go into that. Now, are we selling a few more homes now or not? Hello? Yes. Absolutely. Does it look like we're going to be doing that for the foreseeable future, yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely. Things are happening. More transactions. The economy's getting better, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting a lot better. And it's getting a lot better faster. If for no other reason, it looks like it's getting better. And you know, there's that perception, that Pollyanna, that, you know, the sky is not quite falling down on top of us mentality that we have today, unless you're listening to talk radio. And then the sky has fallen. It's actually, we're picking up the pieces right now. You got to turn the radios off. You got to stop reading the newspaper, except for the Olympics. Okay? That's it. Very negative stuff. I wrote down here, you cannot change your entire life overnight by setting dozens of new goals for yourself and expecting yourself to follow through. To follow through consistently, starting the very next day. You're almost certain to fail. You're almost certain to fail. Lots of goals, lots of things. I'm reaching. You're probably going to fail. It's like, I talked about this earlier, going to the gym for the first time and putting 300 pounds on a bench press, you're going to look silly. If you can only lift 10 pounds, ladies and gentlemen, if you can only lift 10 pounds right now today, then lift 10. Lift 10. If you can only prospect for 30 minutes, then prospect for 30 minutes consistently over time. And next week, we'll bump it up to 45. Do you guys get me? Are you with me on this? Yeah. If you haven't finally learned your scripts and dialogues, maybe today's the time to do it. By the way, scripts and dialogues don't change. I've talked about this time and time and time again. I'll say it again today. Almost 40 years ago, my very first listing in Northwest Whittier was a for sale by owner. I've said this before. What is the objection? What was the objection that seller had of me 40 years ago? They didn't want to pay the commission. 40 years ago. If you go to a for sale by owner today, it's a 50-50 chance that they either don't want to pay the commission or they hate real estate agents, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Learn the objection, it doesn't change. In 40 years, it's the same objection. Now, if you're not planning on being here for a while, then okay, I get it. All right? You're only going to be here for a week or 2 or 3 or, the rest of the year. But if this is your career, this is your job, this is where you're going to make a living, learn this stuff. Start small. Grow. Start from there. Grow to the next level. I wrote down here, the more disciplined you become, the easier it gets. The more disciplined you become, the easier it gets. I wrote down challenges that were once impossible for you. Challenges that you objected to, that you couldn't overcome before, will become child's play to you over time. You get stronger, you get better. You get stronger, you get better. It's all about self-discipline. I wrote this down. Don't compare yourself to other people. It won't help. Write it down. Don't compare. We do this all the time. We compare ourselves to other people. Don't do it. Don't compare yourself to other people. It won't help. You'll only find what you expect to find. If you think you're weak and everyone else seems stronger. If you think you're strong, everyone else will seem weaker. There's no point in doing it. Simply look at where you are today, right now. Establish that baseline, and then work on your self-disciplines from there. You need to lose a couple pounds? It isn't really hard, okay? Instead of eating 3,000 calories a week, eat 2,500, okay? Go on a walk. Instead of sitting and only watching television. So here's the deal. After the Olympics is over in the evening, walk around the house. Okay? You'll feel better. Yesterday we went kayaking because I got so excited about the... Here I am in Newport Harbor in this kayak, right? Oh, boy. Okay, we're not doing that again, okay? In case anybody's curious. There's this little kayak, here I am. There's these big boats, right? Big, little, no good. But you're inspired. You're inspired. You think you can lick the world. You got it. Small. Small. Start small. I wrote down here, there will be times when you simply don't want to be disciplined. Okay, accept that. There will be times where you just don't want to be disciplined. Expect it. Prepare for it. Embrace it. Here's a couple thoughts. Make commitments to others and ask them to hold you accountable. Ask them to be part of your accountability program. Ask them to help you. Go out of your way to be around disciplined people. I talk about this all the time. If you're the smartest, richest person you hang around with, you're in trouble. Okay? You got to find some new friends. If you're the smartest, richest person you hang around with, you better find some new friends. Okay? Because you're not growing. You're not going to the next level. If you hang around people who aren't disciplined, how are you going to get disciplined? Mama told us, don't hang around Lulu. Don't hang around Sammy because they're not going to be a good influence on you. Hang around people that are going to be a good influence on you. Weight-wise, how you look, what you learn, spirituality, how you treat others. It's huge. Jim Rohn said, one discipline always leads to another discipline. One discipline always leads to another discipline. And discipline creates a ripple effect. What began as a 30-day commitment to exercise, to script practice, to lead follow-up, leads to breakthroughs in very significant areas of your life? How about the discipline of saving money? How about the discipline of not spending as much money? The discipline of eating a little bit less? The discipline of eating a little bit better? The discipline of exercise? The discipline of role play and practice? In moderation. I wrote down here, today matters. Today matters. What action will you take today to start building your disciplines? Remember, it's baby steps consistently, not giant steps occasionally. Now let's go out and make this our best week ever. Thank you.